Awangene viva wadamite mage paramite mage yodanga no mazonge mato yoda tibi wai buwa in kano wai buwa in kano wai sama manata bingo bingo sakinda sama buwa na buwa jamatoniga.
You're now tuning in to Culture Sessions with Malathion and Arkyve, because knowing and understanding the culture is the science of everything in life.
Why isn't Nutella one of the most incredible businesses out?
I don't know, because it's an incredible product. But I actually believe...
Why? Does it taste good?
Tastes great.
Yeah.
Tastes great. You never had Nutella?
Yeah, it's like that hazelnut spread.
Yeah, hazelnut spread is so good. But what I was saying, or what did I say before that? Oh, I said that every Fruit Loop is a different color but the same flavor.
That's
a trip.
Crazy.
That is a trip, man. Well, okay, let's get into it. Welcome to Culture Sessions. I'm Malathion.
And I'm Arkyve the Nomad. What's up, everybody?
Yes, and this is the third installment in the Culture Sessions. Need you guys to go to platformcollections.com to go and check out all the episodes we have, all the previous ones we've had. I need you to go check out our fellow podcasts that we have: Crappy Awesome Podcast, 2MX Hologram Podcast, Noah James and Curtis King.
We need to figure out exactly.
No. The other one is Wake the Flock Up. So shouts out to Chamber Records, Cold Crew, Project Blow, King of the Dot, Fresh Coast.
Yeah.
Ayahuasca.
Yeah.
And right now, what we're gonna do is this is actually one that we've actually been really excited about with one of my good friends. Also, actually one of our good friends, Quaesar from RIME FYTAHS.
Yeah.
If you don't know who Quaesar is, he's a beast. He drops an album all the time. You know what I mean?
Damn, he's crazy.
And before we go into this right now, I'm gonna give a moment of silence for anyone that you've had pass away in your life. Give it a moment of silence for them, but also give a moment of silence for Haywire, the Lord Haywire, who passed away from RIME FYTAHS, which was the other half of RIME FYTAHS.
Salute.
Just give a moment of silence. And we're back. So with that being on right there, I mean, you're gonna find out every single thing. Not every single thing, but you're gonna find out pretty much what Quaesar had to say about Haywire and everything else, and
close to everything you need to know if you're a RIME FYTAHS fan. I right away, I'm gonna tell you right now. I grew up, listening to underground hip hop, and one of the first things that I actually heard out there was RIME FYTAHS, and fucking these guys were just, intelligent. You're gonna hear right now going into the first joint, which is Forward Movement.
Oh yeah. We're going into
favorite cuts, man.
Yeah,
of all time.
It's the whole Quaesar thing, I feel, is long overdue, because if you guys don't know, he really, there's interviews with him, but no one really knows the history, and no one really, people know it, but I feel like it's not really something that's being brought up as much as it should be.
People do know that.
I think they're not. It's not being brought up as much as you. Because I remember you handing me a Sea Serpents tape and a RIME FYTAHS tape in high school. You gave me Unfathomable in high school,
and Lost Girls,
and Lost, or I got Lost Girls a little bit later.
Yeah,
you gave me that.
Was it Unfathomable
yes,
first?
because you gave me Unfathomable. You gave me Unfathomable. You gave me Sideways Days, Eli. You gave me Fact of the Matter, Scarab, and then you gave me you gave to the rescue. You gave me To the Rescue, RIME FYTAHS. So that's something good. And then later on, we got put on by Sugar Water. So that's why, what Arkyve said, the Forward Movement, which is performed by Quaesar and Haywire, which is off the Sugar Water album. You can go get that off of rimefytahs.bandcamp.com. And that's a song that we're gonna go into right now. So there it is. Take them away.
Culture Sessions.
Culture. Get them, Spok.
This is dedicated to the 2 decades of living, still spiritually driven, low down underground hidden, blessed by alien words I'm giving to the public so they can dub it. Some love it, some hate it. Ever since since my skin was created. I can't think too far back because my memory's a little bit faded. But fuck it, I made it in this animated world where problems come in swirls and devil disguises girl. Got me thinking in plural, thorough as I roll through these trenches, relentless. My senses giving me a form of the abnormal. The time remains so formal, putting my tape out on the low down, hold down my fortunes. My brain's in constant metamorphosis, moving through life as slow as the torches. Equivalent of 40 shell, broke as hell to proceed. I propel with a corel, heated by radioactivity. I'm a minty, riveting, low budget productivity. My autobiographies, photo photography, and beats can't write your rhymes spit properly.
Nobody care about us. All they do is doubt us. So we blow the spot, then they all wanna crowd us. Nobody care about us. All they do is doubt us. So we blow the spot, then they all wanna crowd us.
On an open mic, I'm smoking like Joe Frazier with a razor and a high-tech taser laser gun. But first I put it on stunt for fun. You better run when the Robinsons in May, June, July. Why try? I'm sky high. You die, guy. But bye. Try not to cry. Oh my, I'm super fly. Let Jimmy Snook go with a bazooka to nuke ya to oblivion. You'll be living in a world where you're the only civilian. About to Jillian, light years away from LA. You know Los Angeles, where killing cannabis is unanimous. 14 days, heavyweight smoking analysts. We fabulous, miraculous, hip-hop activists, activists, Olympic linguistics. So terrific. Let me be a little more specifics, like a scientific breakthrough. Make you wanna take two Advil. My bad skill is a tad ill, but rad still for Brad, Bill, and Jack and chill to this barbaric style. Sicker than Eric and Lau with a spout and trial. You more like Goma Pow, Crocodile, Dundee, King Kong Bundy, Monday through Sunday in a Hyundai. Looking for whack amateurs, I damage your cabbage, whack managers, plastic passengers.
Things so hard, the beats and lyrics I send a regard. Throughout my efforts I get no reward, but 88 keys upon my keyboard. The life is tough, try not to be bored. Hit the lion's den, put in some record. My life is rough, potholes and detours. While I'm equivalent to the seashore, below sea level, above enough the grass. Analyze contrast, I need multiple tasks. Go up, let's go, my really be brass. I might look small, but still can work fast. I cut and slash, but trees and dead grass to reach the other side of the green flash. While you strung out on heroin, coke glass, I'm positive, reflect off negative past. But don't ask me why things so hard, cause I do too wish they could be better. Because despite my positive efforts, I still get stuck up in gray weather.
Nobody care about us. All they do is doubt us. So we blow the spot, then they all wanna crowd us. Nobody care about us. All they do is doubt us. So we blow the spot, then they all wanna crowd us. Nobody care about us. All they do is doubt us. So we blow the spot, then they all wanna crowd us. Nobody care about us. All they do is doubt us. So we blow the spot, then they all wanna crowd us. If we can't have trust, then you can't hang with us. If we can't have trust, then you can't hang with us. If we can't have trust, then you can't hang with us. If we can't have trust, then you can't hang with us. If we can't have trust, then you can't hang with us.
Yeah. I thought this guy's bringing the Pledge of Allegiance.
Oh, we're getting it in?
Well, I don't know. Go ahead, run it real quick so you can do sound.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, turn this mic up just a little. Turn my mic up just a little bit. Turn it. Yo. All right, that's good.
Yeah.
Welcome to Culture Sessions. I am Malathion.
And I'm Arkyve the Nomad. What's up, everybody?
Spok Beats in the building. Right now, we need you to go to check out platformcollection.com. Check out all the podcasts that are on there. Crappy Awesome Podcast, 2Max Hologram Podcast, Wake the Flock Up, Noah James, Curtis King Podcast, Chamber Records, Cola Crew, Project Blowed, King of the Dot, Fresh Coast, Ayahuasca. We're in the building right now with Quaesar from RIME FYTAHs.
Deal, Quaesar!
In the building. There we go. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Start that off, man. Let them know.
We off? Okay,
We're
yeah.
off. We're taking
we're
off.
Good. Yeah, we're taking flight. All right. First of all, fuck. I'm like, this is crazy because.
Hold on.
I mean, I
Hold
don't
on.
even know.
That mic went out just a little bit.
Did it?
Sounded like.
Can you hear me good? Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. Just to get into the honor fact, man. I mean, all my initial first underground memories of growing up in the SGV as an artist, like trying to be an artist anyway, emulating. I remember the first thing that I ever heard was the Sea Serpent's Lost Scrolls. And I don't even remember how I stumbled upon it. I wish I remembered how I did. But I know I used to have a lot of underground, way more underground homies than me, and they were older. And I just, once I had that in my hands, I literally like changed my life from a skateboarder into an underground backpack rapper. You know what I mean? And that just like my course of activity. You know what I mean? And I'm just astonished, like, to have you in the building, to be able to ask you questions right now. You know what I mean? Things that I've been wanting to ask you for a minute. So just want to get that shit out the fucking way real quick.
First of all,
go ahead, Malathion.
Let them know who you are, Quaesar. Let them know what it is. Quaesar Rhyme Fighters.
Quaesar Rhyme Fighters, Cola Cruz, Sea Serpents, Team Venom, up in this fucking bitch.
There we go, man. Well, let's get it in. That's the first question that I have is, where did the name Rhyme Fighters stem from? Like, where did you figure out that's where you guys wanted to roll with?
Rhyme Fighters is just something that stuck with us because I guess it just fit us in a way. As far as me and Haywire, when I met Haywire, met him in a city that was north of the city that I grew up in. I grew up in El Monte. I was born in Monterey Park, Garfield Hospital, but I was basically raised in El Monte and shit. And so throughout my life, it's funny because like throughout your life, when you're raised in El Monte, when you're raised in any city, you kind of have that like I'm from this city and fuck all the other cities and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, especially in the 90s.
Yeah, so like you grow up like that, but it's just weird how like I would meet like the person that would fucking form like a crew like this. You know what I'm saying? So like when I was out there, I actually met quite a few people that became like close family members of me. You know what I'm saying? And so like fucking when me and Haywire actually met up, we were just MCs. It was like kind of like, hey, I know this one cat that MCs kind of like, and I was doing some shit with these other few cats, but they were kind of like honestly not really up to par. What I was thinking was kind of out the box for them. See, during that time, you have to know like we were coming from a time of I don't know if you're familiar with Music Plus.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
I wish.
Yeah, okay. Okay, well, Music Plus is this music store, which is a commercialized music store, and it was everywhere. And basically, you could buy cassettes there. And
Music Plus.
Or Tower Records.
Yeah. Well, no, actually, Tower Records is already out there, too, you know what I'm saying? But it was like kind of like the same thing, Music Plus. It was just some commercial. It was like Blockbuster, It was right before Blockbuster.
It's like Tower Records.
Matter of fact, Blockbuster kind of took over a lot of the Music Plus's old spots. Like if you kind of grew up in the area, you'd be like, that used to be Music Plus, now Blockbuster. But anyway, besides that, fucking Music Plus kind of like you grow up with the tapes, you know what I'm saying? So you're going and getting tapes, and you're going to fucking, you get to go to the swap meet, and you get to pick up mixtapes that the DJs are spinning on vinyl. You get to hear rare hip hop and all this stuff. Everything that you hear though, basically during that time was, it's studio quality. It's cassettes. You know what I'm saying? Like nice and smooth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're getting on tape. Ghetto Boys. We're getting on tape. You know what I'm saying? Big L. Fucking. Like you're getting all this shit that you're influenced on tape. But then, like it was like I kind of like was like, okay, I know there's another way we could do this. Because I was kind of familiar with recording with bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I was like, I know there's another way we could get down on this shit. Like, we don't have to necessarily hit a high-grade studio. We can at least fucking put this shit on a cheap application where we can show it off and then maybe hopefully get it to another level, Without realizing as a kid, that's basically how you're supposed to do it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So anyway, like, I'm like, hey, we could do this. And with these cats that I was working with, they really weren't seeing out the box because computers were barely starting to get into the picture. So this dude had like he happened to have like some sort of karaoke machine, but he also had like a fucking like a computer mic. I don't know if you remember those old school skinny ass computer mics that were all trebly and shit. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it was like some shit like that. So it was like I was showing them, and he had WaveLab, but it was like WaveLab back fucking like in 1995 WaveLab or some bullshit, maybe even before that, Yeah. And so it was like, look at, I was trying to show him how he could get samples and fuck with samples and karaoke them and 2-track them. They weren't kind of digging it. So I was like, getting frustrated, I couldn't really work with these cats. So it just so happened they happened to know Haywire, where Haywire would come around, but back then he was known as Lokes, Loco, because he was crazy, motherfucker was rowdy.
Did he
gangbang
or he just
he was just a tagger, you know what I'm saying?
Oh,
like
yeah.
he'd go out tagging, fucking SK mob and shit,
right?
Get in the shit, and he has a few stories that you could fucking build. People have many stories about that crazy fool, you know what I'm saying? And anyways, like homie lent me a tape one time, and it happened to be Haywire's tape, Lokes' tape. And it's funny because I would walk where I started staying in Rosemead. I would walk through the city, and I would see Haywire. I'd see Lokes. He'd ride this beach cruiser. He'd look all loked out. He'd wear lokes and shit, and look like a straight vet, like fucking brocha and everything. But little did I know he's like my age, But like it's just the way he carried himself, And we would always cross paths. Well, it turned out that was Haywire, and we met up, and it was crazy because we didn't really butt heads too much. We just kept it cool, and fucking from there we just were like hitting open mics and what should we do? What should we name ourselves? And kind of like from there, and like we kind of had that style of like Rhyme Fighters. You have to understand, we grew up in an era like I said, Music Plus, Goonies. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
E.T.
Yeah.
Muppets. You know what I'm saying?
It was a different time.
We grew up with like fucking Back to the Future. You know what I'm saying? Like underdog shit. You know what I'm saying? Where the underdog wins. You know what I'm saying? Where fucking, you know what I'm saying? No one's looking out for the fucking for the voiceless kind of shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, Karate Kid. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We grew up during that era. You know what I'm saying?
So Rhyme Fighters.
So Rhyme Fighters just kind of feels just like bing. Yeah, that's exactly what we are. We're here to like defend hip hop culture and this on fucking little shit and
that's a dope name.
And we're here to do it in a right way where we're not out there like talking about flashy cars and bling and bitch and degrading women and fucking this and that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like kind of fit like, all right, boom, we're gonna run with that Rhyme Fighters.
Yeah. I mean, considering all that, like those influences, where did the rhyme? I mean, I could understand like the thought process of it, but like more like with you, like your style, Quaesar. Like, how old were you when you first started rapping?
Damn, when I first started rapping, I can't really recall. Probably like I'd have to say maybe like 87, 88 when I first started like trying to like I'm gonna write my own stupid little rap like it was fucking whack as fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like so I can't even remember it. It could have. But what I was doing was like what I would do is I would write other people's raps down.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I would write somebody else's raps down and kind of be like, okay, I see how they're kind of flowing with their shit. And then I would I was back then I'm listening to Dana Dane, Slick Rick, fucking Biz Markie, all this shit that's playing on KDAY, Run DMC. And I'm kind of, and back then the rhyme structure was very simple, very, very simple.
Right,
you know?
yeah. Right.
Bing, 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 bing,
Yeah.
bing, bing, bing. So it's like real easy to, okay, I get the pattern, boom. It's just like a poem. It's poetry. It's fucking
That's why I don't
real
get where the
easy.
hell did you come from? Like,
So like
considering all that
I
shit.
just like after figuring out the patterns, then you start to realizing, okay, now it's patterns and almost like it's funny. It's almost like, for example, like you work with like a program now. Back in the day, you work with the beats. You had to make the beats. Now you see the program, right? And when you're making those beats like on Fruity Loops or Pro Tools or something, you see the patterns and you're like, okay, boom, 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 and there's a certain pattern every time you're fucking making those beats,
Yeah.
So that's how I kind of seen the rhyme structure when I was young. I was like, okay, this is very simple. Like, how can we kind of like advance it and add more and speak about this? And it was slowly advancing, like, because like I would start like getting shit. You have to remember, I'm still young, so I'm getting like, I was real into like Public Enemy and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was real into like shit like that. But like a lot, even during that time, like commercialism was getting pretty influenced with hip hop and almost kind of fucking it up, So like even myself, like I would start like listening to like a lot of commercial shit. You know what I'm saying? Like during that time, you know what I'm saying? Like there was
because you liked it, or just because it was all that was
just
out?
because like you see the girls liking it. You're like in 7th grade, and the girls are liking
Trying to
that
do the
shit,
do.
and you're like, and fools are like, there's shit out. There was shit out like Redhead Kingpin and fucking, like there's shit like
crazy
you guys,
shit right
you
there.
guys probably won't
Google that
remember,
shit.
There's some like old school shit like I think like different old shit I can't remember, but. Yeah, and then but there was real shit. Like I said, there was real shit like Public Enemy, which I would always get in Public Enemy, Big Daddy Kane, and there was always that underlayering, like underground hip hop that was still there, that kind of stuck around, you know?
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, so with that, I was influenced to shit like you would get like, you would hear them give props out or some shit, and you would hear different people. You would kind of hear them chop a little bit. When you would hear them, they'd be like Big Daddy Kane would chop sometimes.
Yeah, Big L would too.
Big L was like, Big you know, Pun. They wouldn't like chop the whole fucking verse down, but they would be like, and it kind of like started like advancing me to be like, well, what if you do the whole verse like that and just nonstop doing that shit, and then I'm barely thinking of it, you know?
Yeah.
And then during the time I'm barely thinking of it, fucking there's some one dude coming out like Mr. Tongue Twister way back then. And it's like, this motherfucker could rap all fast and shit, you know? But there wasn't really so much like stylizing.
Was that Twister?
I'm not really sure. Probably is. I'm not really sure. But I remember Mr. Tongue Twister. He was the fastest MC and shit. And the motherfucker raps so super fucking fast.
Was he from the West or where was he from?
I can't really remember. I'm so young. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Yeah.
But anyway, fucking like the motherfucker, what I'm trying to get at is that it wasn't really catching my ear too much because it was just being fast. You know what I'm saying? So like I'm like, I want to see some with style, and then I stumbled upon this tape, and I fucking played it one time, and I was like, whoa, what the fuck, this is the shit. Like when I played this tape, it let me know, it kind of like how would you say, like certified that whatever I was thinking was right. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't know that this shit existed. And when I heard this fucking shit, I was like, motherfucker, this is what I've been talking about. What the fuck? Who the fuck are these guys? These fools, you know what I'm saying? They're doing that shit.
I felt when I heard Sea Scrolls, man.
Yeah, you know, so it's just like fucking that. And I remember the hook was like, are you ready for the vibe? Are you ready for the flow? Are you ready for Chaos Network Project Blow? Are you ready for the vibe? And it was so cheap. It was all
you hear the hissing shit.
And it sounded like some motherfucker just on a Casio keyboard. But the motherfuckers were ripping it, and I was like, you see, that's what I'm saying. Like I don't even like, during that time it was like I was so into being an MC that I didn't even give a fuck how the beat sounded, just as long as you were ripping some hardcore fucking lyrics. Like the sound quality didn't matter, the fucking this, that didn't matter, nothing mattered other than you had the skills and the styles to fucking kill. So that's why like a lot of the shit, that's why honestly a lot of the shit fell off, really, because it was like, well, why am I gonna buy some shit that's made in a studio if fucking these motherfuckers are ripping it? And then you could go, and then, as a matter of fact, there's a spot in Leimert Park where these fools are at, and you can go see them bust. You want to go see them? What the fuck? Let's go see these motherfuckers bust. And fucking going out there and seeing fucking, for the first time, going out and to the Blowed and being like, whoa, all right, these motherfuckers are doing their thing like this. All right, see, like you're seeing it firsthand. It's like way different. Okay, now it opens up a whole different world, a whole different ball game for us, because those are our predecessors. You know what I'm saying? Those people, just like how we were saying, Big L doing the little chop, doing the they're out there doing their, sacrificing their rhymes, their styles, and their whole fucking shit to blossom up our minds, so that I can be like, whoa, I heard this and I want to unfold it this much further. And then fucking from there, whoa, they're doing it on the street, I want to unfold it this much further and bring it to people's front door. You know what I'm saying? And so we fucking, from there, just, you know, blossomed out like that. You know, really, you know, when I fucking really heard that one original first project Blowed tape and heard how cheesy it sounded and how fucking low budget it was, it was like, see, this is how, what I was telling you about the karaoke shit. Like, don't worry about how it's gonna sound. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times I was hindered by people too worried about the sound, and fucking the sound. You know what I'm saying? It's like, fuck the sound, homie. Get the shit out. Motherfuckers need to learn not to bite my styles or bite my fucking punchline or bite my fucking shit. Like, fuck that. Fuck the sound. After that, we'll fix it later. You know what I'm saying?
So you just had to get that out.
We could remix like 10 remixes, Fucking, you know what I'm saying?
I remember one time I was at your house and you had like a box of tapes. I don't know if they were like old Rime. Were they old Rime Fighter tapes?
Yeah, old Rime Fighter tapes.
How many unreleased tapes do you think you have?
Well, right now I probably have like maybe like 3 unreleased tapes. And I'm actually, I just finished doing a Us Against Them, and I have the tapes. I'm recording them, so some lucky people are gonna actually come up on those, you know.
Wow.
And then I'm gonna probably post them up for sale for custom order, some shit like that.
That's dope.
But other than that, like we have like karaoke tape shit, you know what I'm saying, where it's like straight, like so hissed the fuck out beyond. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, they need it.
That's like a
That
fossil.
needs to be out.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like a fucking
So it's
fossil
like
and shit.
it's like we record the beat, boom. Like think about it. Like I had like a SB202, and I was like boom, boom, boom. And you can only play up to 4 sounds if they're low quality. If it's high quality, you're only playing up to 2 sounds.
Yeah.
So you wanted your beat dope as fuck, so that's automatic high quality. So you're like boom, 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 and you're like mixing down 2 sounds, and then you get the tape, put it in the other thing. Put another blank tape, record that one, and then start adding the samples. So that's automatic fucking adding hiss. And then you take the tape out, and then you fucking put it back, and then you're recording that one, and then you start adding maybe one more sound if you really wanted to get hiss. If not, you're lacing it with your vocals, and then after that, doing it again and doing overdubs. You know what I'm saying?
Damn.
Were you doing the productions for everybody? Pretty much like if you weren't there, no one could record. Was that the problem?
For a while, it was like that. Because I was the only one that bought equipment. See, for a while it was like this. See, me, Haywire, and I were fucking Rhyme Fighters and doing shit. We had a DJ with us. That DJ, you know, I'm not gonna say no names because I have respect for him. But that fucking DJ would smoke a lot of fucking glass and get real high and meth the fuck out. Mind you, this is 1997, 1996.
Early.
You know what I'm saying? This is way back in the day. So this fool would always fucking be like, yeah, I got you guys. I could record. Because we didn't know how to do shit. We didn't know how to fucking rhyme. And all we want to do is bust flows and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So fucking, he was like, kind of give us little hints of, this sampler and 4-track. And one day he had a 4-track and I was kind of playing with it. And I was like, oh, okay, I kind of see now how this shit kind of works and shit, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, because it's analog, so it's a little different, you know? It's not all digital. So
Hardware.
it's like, so you kind of see visually how it works. So like, okay, fucking, I kind of see. And just after a while, that fool fell off. And he wasn't around, so it was like, well, fuck, we're going to have to get our own shit, you know, one way or another. So I just kind of did some little research. There really isn't computers. There wasn't no Google search or nothing.
Yeah.
It was just kind of like, let's go to fucking Guitar Center, you know?
Talk to people.
Yeah.
So we just hopped on the bus and went right here to Azusa Guitar Center.
Hell yeah, still standing right there.
Yeah,
He's in Covina Boulevard, man.
Yep.
And we were like,
Landmark.
I was like, I'm gonna fucking buy the SB202, and then I bought the SB202, and I was like, fuck it, that's all I could afford, you know.
Yeah.
Went back home with that, and Haywire's like, well, fuck it, let's take a stop by West Covina Mall, and I'll buy a brand new karaoke machine. I don't know why.
Is it from Radio Shack?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
And then I don't know why he wanted the karaoke machine. I was like, I was trying to convince him, like, dude, just get the 4-track, dog. I guess since we knew how to use the karaoke machine,
It's easier.
Yeah.
and it had a built-in speaker.
Yeah.
He's trying to get more bang for his buck or some shit.
Yeah.
He's probably like, fuck, I want to record tonight. I don't want to learn shit. I
Yeah,
wanna record
basically,
tonight, like, right now.
That's how it was, you know. So we just went, got the karaoke, and we're just on the bus with our karaoke and sampler.
There you
fucking
go.
Riding home and shit, you know.
On the foothill transit to the metro.
On the shuttle, y'all like,
Yeah. And then during that time, when we started getting our equipment, I had moved back to Omani, and Haywire started living with me in this little fucking like 1-room shack kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like 1-room fucking crib.
You were on your own at the time? Or?
Yeah. During that time, as soon as I hit like 17, I was basically most of the time I've been on my own. My mom like fucking was like a heroin addict. She's fucking from the hood, Flores, Monte Flores. My pops is from the hood.
Right.
Fucking my pops is locked up for robbing fucking small, you know, little neighborhood shops and shit. So he got like 25 right when I was like 5 years old. So I just grew up without my pops, you know. And then my mom's is a heroin addict, so we always bounce house to house and fucking, you know, God knows what the fuck my mom was doing, because I'm just a little kid. I don't know what the fuck's going on, you know. Now looking back, it's like, fuck, you know what I'm saying? So like, I just most of the time like was growing up like kind of like in a mind state was on some shit like, fuck this, I don't ever want to fucking be like this. I want to have food in my fucking fridge. I want to have a warm, I don't want to grow up with cockroaches every night wandering around and shit and fucking waking up to another raid and shit and fucking, you know what I'm saying? So it's like fucking I remember fucking one time going somewhere with my Nina and shit, and they fucking raided the crib, and me and my Nina, she didn't want to get busted with the cops with me, you know. So we hid in the fucking attic, yo. And we're in the attic, and I could see, I'm just up there, and I could see through the cracks all the cops, like with
A little kid?
Yeah. I could see all the cops. All I remember is like their windbreakers, you know how it says like police on the back and shit. Yeah. Just, like, be quiet.
You're like, oh shit,
like that. So I mean, I grew up around that shit, you know. So
I think you talk about it on one of your songs on Plastic Explosives.
Yeah, a couple songs I break it
Your
down.
mom never got her name tatted on her hand.
Yeah,
shit.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because like there's a certain way I grew up, because I see a lot of people try to like love the glamour and love the mind state of acting hard. And fucking, I'm gonna fucking dress like I'm crazy. Even a lot of the cats I grew up with, like that are my age, that I went to high school with, their parents were not gangbangers. They were growing up, even in El Monte, they were growing up in a nice fucking crib. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And they were fucking smoking crack, and they were fucking getting jumped in the neighborhood, and they were getting jumped into different neighborhoods and shooting each other, and fucking, it's like, are you fucking serious? I was sleeping on a park bench, you know what I'm saying? I slept in a fucking park bench, yo. You know what I'm saying? While these motherfuckers got a nice little crib that they don't probably have no more because they smoked it to shit, and they're probably God knows where the fuck they're at. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just saying that right now because there's kids now that are young that are fucking doing that shit, and they don't know they got a home, and they're fucking smoking their crib out, making it stink, and they don't give a fuck that where the fuck they come. Motherfucker, I didn't have that shit. Yeah. And when I was young, I wanted that shit. And when I was young, I was broke as fuck. I was wearing Frisco Ben Davis. You guys don't know about Frisco Ben Davis. Frisco Benz, actually. Frisco Benz will fucking fade after the third time you wash the motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? So after that, motherfuckers know you got some old ass pants. Fool, I be wearing those Frisco Benz for fucking months straight. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then sleeping in the park, have to go to fucking school, walk, fucking shoes looking beat up. You think motherfuckers want to kick it with me? Fuck no. You know? But they had a nice crib. Their mom gave them a fucking car. Their mom paid their fucking rent so they could go and fucking buy their own car and pay for their own car. And what did they do? They go and smoke it up, get all fucking cracked the fuck out, tweak the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? And then they're nowhere. You know what I'm saying? And during that time, I'm seeing that shit while I'm growing the fuck up. And I'm like, these motherfuckers is stupid, yo. You know what I'm saying? And mind you, I grew up like I grew up in the hood, so I'm stupid too, because I'm like, you know what, fuck this, I'm hating it. And while I'm watching this, I'm drinking my King Cobra, I'm smoking my blunt of fucking Bammer with seeds in it. You know what I'm saying? I'm lacing my fucking blunts up with fucking Coke and fucking, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? I did the same shit, you know what I'm saying? But I got caught up with that shit. Like, I got rolled up on, I got fucking warrants, I got thrown in a juvie like God knows how many fucking times. And remember, my mom is a heroin addict. My mom don't have a fucking house to put up
when you get out.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So when you get locked up, my mommy doesn't have a house to put up. You know what I'm saying? So when I get locked up, I get locked up. I get stuck in that motherfucker. Mm-hmm. There ain't no safe zone for me, motherfuckers. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I'm stuck in there. You know what I'm saying? I've been stuck in LP. You know what I'm saying? Central.
That's
you know what I'm saying?
Shout out.
You know? And then it got to the point where, like, when I finally got locked up, I got thrown in the Supermax County Jail, and I got thrown in the Supermax, you know, and in Wayside, and I was like, dude, what the fuck am I doing here? I spent my 18th birthday turning from 17 to 18 in Supermax Wayside. And I'm like, fuck, this is how I'm gonna fucking live my life. Exactly what I didn't want to do, what I seen my parents doing and I didn't want to do, and everything I'm saying I don't want to do, I'm like fucking like almost like doing the same thing, like fuck this. So that's when it was crazy, because right when I was in Wayside, I met Zender, and Zender fucking kind of like schooled me up and was like, motherfucker, you don't go to college, you don't go to college, and you know about this. And he told me about ELAC and fucking how to get into college and how to do the financial aid thing. I'm like, damn, fool. And during that time, I'm busting flows, right? So it brought me back to hip hop, you know. And when I came back to hip hop, I was like, well, wait a minute. this whole hip hop shit, this is where like what I've always grown up to really do. This is where my outlet's at, truly. This is my real fucking outlet. Because really hip hop has no boundaries. Hip hop has no, like, you know, remember I grew up with Dana Dane. I grew up listening to Beastie Boys. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was like fucking, I grew up listening to Master Ace Mentirosa. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no boundaries. You know what I'm saying? There was really no boundaries there was no color, race, boundary, nothing. It was like, hip hop's hip hop. We all fucking got down. And mind you, like during that time, like Beat Street, a lot of the breakers were like Puerto Ricans and shit.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, so like there was really like we didn't see that shit. We were like those '80s kids, yo. Like we grew up like kind of like, you know what I'm saying? The '80s was a fucking wild time, yo. Motherfuckers don't know. It was a way wild time.
Far out.
Dare program, you know what I'm saying? You guys know
Dare
program, you know what I'm saying? Well, they're trying to fucking bring that shit back, you know?
Damn, that's a joke.
But like, so like, you know, there's just, I don't know, like fucking, growing up and seeing all that shit, I was just like, I'm not trying to be like that. So to me, it humors me in a way. It's funny to see fools act hard when you're fucking, when like your background really doesn't have that in you, you know? Your parents are hardworking, like, you know what I'm saying? Middle class men and shit, and you're out there trying to act hard and put on fancy clothes and have a fucking cock extension of a whip to drive around and fucking act like you're gonna stomp on everybody. And it's like, to me, it's like, shut the fuck up, because like seriously, like, anybody can pull a trigger and mow a fool down, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I could give a fuck what anybody has to fucking say or act hard. Quit acting just quit acting hard, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Seriously, like, that's just, and so like that's where a lot of my rhyme scheme and my whole shit comes from, because I seen a lot of that shit coming up, and I just want to like project it into my shit and release it, and that's my fucking outlet with that whole shit, you know?
So the, like, being in jail and all that, like or being locked up for a little while, that's just all prior to even rhyming on the streets?
Well, not necessarily, because me and Haywire were rhyming on the streets like 95 shit. When I got locked up, it was probably like 98, 99, like a little. It was more like, all right, fuck all the open mic running around freestyle and getting in fight shit. Let's start putting it down on tracks now. When I got out, you know, let's start lacing the tracks up now. And so when we got out, that's when it was like, all right, put it on a CD burner, fucking, you know, like I went and got this CD burner. It was crazy, fool. Like, we were like doing tapes, you know, for a minute, like when we first did Not For Retail. It was like, all right, tapes, legit tapes. And like, what would we do is like, we would go to this spot, get little tapes that would have like 5 minutes one side, 5 minutes the other, put a couple singles on there, go out to City Walk, fucking, all the spots, you know, Venice, and just pass out free tapes. But we would do crazy shit. Like, we would wait for all the fucking Asians to come off the bus, all with their cameras, and lace them up with tapes. And they'd be like, what the fuck is this shit?
Go back to Japan with some fly ass
you know, like,
shit.
we would be doing rowdy shit. Like,
they probably bumped that shit.
Hell yeah, that shit probably
what is these
same out there.
Haywire made it real fucking fun. I'll tell you that much. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Talk about some Haywire. Like, what's a story that, like, a good story? I mean, I know you probably have a lot of them, but what's like a good story that you could probably lace?
Made it fun.
Could probably go on for days. I really don't know, man.
I don't want to put you on the spot like that. You know, if you think of one, it's
well, you know what?
good.
I have another question besides, because we were still touching base on that. So so you got out and everything, and so you wanted to make the music. So obviously it was Rhyme Fighters, but I want to know what came first.
The chicken or the egg? Nah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Sea Serpents, Cola, or Rhyme Fighters.
It was Rhyme Fighters, Sea Serpents, Cola.
Rhyme Fighters, Sea Serpents, Cola. Okay, and then who started Cola?
Like me and Haywire kind of did in a way. It was more like my idea, and Haywire kind of named it. So it was like kind of like, hey, we need to do some shit where it's like this and blah 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 blah, blah blah bing, and da 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 da. Some little skeletal shit, you know?
Right.
Because Sea Serpents, mind you, it's like me and Haywire Rhyme Fighters, and we're going through some shit like, nah, we're Rhyme Fighters, fuck that, and there's fools out there rhyme this, rhyme that, and we're having a battle, fools, we're rhyme something, and we're rhyme something, and we're like, fuck that Rhyme Fight, and it's getting down to like where we're just like, but we were like pretty good because we could freestyle, and we had some pretty good fucking writtens too, so like when fools want to do some written, we could bust some writtens too.
And tracks.
Yeah, so, but during that time we didn't have tracks.
Oh, okay.
So like we're just like, but like what I could do a lot was like I could beatbox, certain shit. So we would go on and like there'd be no beat, and I'd be like, or let's say, you know. And then Haywire just be like, oh shit, you know, and then like, and just shit like that. Like for example, like right now I made it pop, but then I know how to hold it like this way, and so little shit like that would kind of lean towards our advantage. You know what I'm saying? And so just shit like that. So it was like, okay, me and Haywire developed this relationship for like the last maybe 5 years or 4 years. You know, so it's like, you know, we met this one fool while going to trade tech, fucking motherfucker. Freestyle like a motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? You gotta check him out. Haywire's telling me, you know. And so I went to the shit, and we had a session one day, and this fool could freestyle like a motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? And who are you? What's your name? His name, he called himself Taz Everlast, you know, right? You know, or like what was it? Eternal Forever Flow, you know. And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, I'm from South Central's finest, and you know, this is when we're going to trade tech and shit. So like there's a lot of different, it's like a melting pot of different cultures, you know.
Yeah.
So it's like, whoa, now we're starting to meet like people that are like, you know, not just in our own little block and shit. So it's like, all right, cool, this fool could flow, and he really liked our style, we liked his, we could freestyle, we could get down and bing. And right exactly during the same exact time, we're kind of like kicking it more with like Crest Rock, and Crest Rock is an old school homie, a very, very old school homie of Haywire's. Haywire and Crest Rock knew each other longer than I known either of them. You know what I'm saying? They're like, they know more history about themselves than I can speak of.
Right.
They're from KOL, an old school tag crew that is out in the fucking east side of LA. Part of Infernal Records. Infernal Records Apply. Crest Rock Apply helped print up a lot of Shapeshifter shirts and shit during probably like 94, 93 era B-Boy Summit original initial stages during those times. He's worked with like you know, like that whole kind of area of the Shapeshifters. He was working with DJ Rob One a lot during the end time. He had like a certain relationship with him, you know what I'm saying? Where he kind of worked with them, and we helped support, and you know, rest in peace, DJ Rob One, legend. You know, if you kids don't know out there, do your fucking homework, DJ Rob One. You know what I'm saying? Without DJ Rob One's one of the LA DJ legend. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, don't even be a DJ if you don't go out and learn about who the fuck.
You don't know that, you can't be a DJ. You got to do your homework.
And so like shit like that. So like that's where Crest Rock and shit. So Haywire's kind of kicking it back with Crest Rock, kind of like sparking up his own. You know, you kind of kick it with your old homies again and shit. So it's all at the same time that we're going to trade tech, kind of fucking, you know, this little certain era. Meet Taz Everlast, Crest Rock. They all have an old homie, fucking John, you know, and this guy John tags Amex. During this time, Amex comes around, and Amex is like kind of freestyling too. So then we kind of form the serpents amongst us freestylers, because Crest Rock, you know, he was a little older than us too. He's older than us, you know. So he's always been on his like kind of doing his own thing game, you know.
Yeah.
So we're like, all right, we're serpents. We're always out in the streets, fucking serpenting up.
Yeah.
Serpents.
Underground.
And then it was just like we would always record at Crest's. So it just got to the point where it's like, hey, we need to make some shit that's like, you know, kind of not just freestyle, where we can have like freestyle MCs, we can have breakers, we can have DJ, and kind of like trying to get the skeletal structure of this idea of what I was trying to get at. And then like, yeah, this sounds like a good idea. And yeah, because I'm trying to get like, because like me and Haywire were on some shit like, yeah, just freestylers, sea serpents, you know. And then during that time we met up with Hacksaw Raw too, and Hacksaw could freestyle. So it was like, okay, Hacksaw, fucking so it's like we got these freestylers, but I could notice kind of like, you know, I don't want to leave Crest out. I don't want to leave not just Crest out, but like the other homies that it could flow, because there's a couple of homies from the SBDs and the other homies, and like a lot of other homies that can really do a lot of dope art, but they're not being as aggressive as we are. But that doesn't mean that we need to exclude them, you know? So that's when I was like, we need to kind of make some bigger chamber of like this whole thing, you know what I'm saying? So, and then that's when Haywire was like, what about Raiders of the Lost Arts or some shit, you know what I'm saying? And then I was just like, and then they went from there, you know, like, all right, well, what about Creators of the Lost Art? And, you know, I was like, yeah, and it's like, all right, and Cola, one just Cola, and Bastard Artists, and, you know, because that's what another thing, too, like, you know, we had, like, Bastard Art, like, a lot of few heads that were kind of, like, contributing to what we were doing, but you know, we didn't want to exclude them. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
because they were already included. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what are we gonna call this crew that we already have? You know what I'm saying? So it's like creators of the Lost Arts, fucking, and from there, like, it kind of like got to the point where like a lot of just almost everybody was in it, like a bunch of homies and you know shit like that, and then we had to kind of like break it down and put
because it grew. I remember at one point it was like so many heads. It was like, oh, we're in Cola too. I'm like, who's in Cola? Like it was. I remember for sure Poetic Prophets because we were the homies. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
how'd you meet those guys?
I met them through Bastard Artists. Bastard Artists actually told me they wanted to do a track that he interviewed these cats out in the 626. They're pretty cool, and then I rolled up one day and it was the Prophets. You know, and they're a bunch of young ass dads.
Shout out. All the people.
Yeah, my G's right there.
That's my family, you know?
Yeah.
And, like, I love telling this story because they were so young, eh? You know what I'm saying? And, like, they're like, oh, and fucking I rolled up like, fuck, what the fuck? These kids, fuck, dude, all right. And then, like, I was listening to their shit and I was like, all right, I'm just gonna fucking kill this track. And I just wrote some sick ass shit and, like, they're all happy about it. I was like, hell yeah, that's cool. And then kind of told them, I don't know if it was probably that first day I kind of dropped it to Orbs. Kind of like, hey, you know, we got this thing going on, you know, it's called, you know, Creator of the Lost Arts, and maybe you might want to take an interest, you know, like, you know, and from there kind of like they're like, all right, and they fucking didn't make their first meeting. They're absent their first meeting and shit.
Oh, man.
And fucking Dazzle was all mad at them and shit. And,
the only responsible one, Dazzle?
Yeah, he called me up being all cool and shit, like, hey, we're going to come to the next one. I was like, all right, it's cool, hey, you know. Mind you, back then it was still big, so it was like, it wasn't a big deal, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, and just fucking, Cola from there, you know, just went off and shit. And, you know.
Yeah, I remember when I got put on Cola. It was like I remember that. I remember.
How did that happen? I don't
know. That was
how did that happen?
I guess the interview's on me now. I remember. I think it was. I was like interested. I was like, man, Arkyve. We were like splitting up. Arkyve was moving. We were there on moving to like Ontario. That's the tires and fucking people speeding by and shit. If you guys heard that, but. I wanted to pick up a sack, and I had all these CDs, and I went to your pad. Or not even pick up a sack. I'm not going to say that online on air or shit, but I went to your pad. I think I shot you some CDs.
It was a sack of CDs.
A sack of CDs. I shot you some CDs, and you were like, you know, I was like, yo, man, if you, like, I'll come here, I'll kill shit or something like that. I was like, man, like, see what's up. And the next, I think it was a day or 2 days after, I got a text from you, and you're like, oh, this is some dope shit. And I was like, man, like, what was good, you know? And you're like, oh, I'm going to talk to the crew or something. I think that's something that was like that. And then I remember getting a text, and it said, DJ Otech, come to Cola meeting. And then I got one from Dazzle, Cola meeting. And I got one from Action, Cola meeting. Got one from Orbs, Cola meeting. I was like, oh, shit. Okay, it was getting real now. And then I rolled up with my homie George, and this with Quaesar. I walk up to the house, and everyone was inside, and Quaesar pulls me aside and goes, hey, homie, next time don't bring no one else to the meeting and shit. And I was like, for sure, dog. I was like, oh shit, this is gonna be real right now. I didn't know what I was coming in for, you know. Yeah. But it was cool. Everyone was really cool. We all hung out, spit flows. You know what I mean? I talked about a lot of things that was going on for the future, and it was. I remember it was like Cola was on lock for a while. Like you guys weren't letting anybody in for a while, and it was I don't know if it was right after. The whole haywire thing. I think it was that because I think you even told me you're like, nah, we're not fucking with that right now. And then it happened, which was dope, you know, because I felt like it's a part of what we are out here is the 626, man. Like we all got to ride together. We all got to come up together because like there was a time where we felt like we don't want to go to no disrespect to the bloat or nothing, but felt like, you know, we can do something out here too, because that's what Cola did too. It was kind of like you guys were able to put out everything without it being so having to always be travel all the way to LA just to make something happen. Like we're able to make something happen out here. It's just the things out here is that they don't really make it They don't really let us do too many shows out here like that. Like I wish they would. I wish they had more venues.
Well, we're gonna change that, man.
I mean, now with everything that's going on now, but like during that time, it wasn't going on like that. You know what I mean? But you know, enough about me getting in a cola and all that stuff. I was just rambling. I'm
ecstatic here. I want to get back to it, dude.
Yeah, man. Like enough about that though. But
actually, you said something
crazy.
about Haywire, and I actually had one last question. I mean, not really about Haywire, but more about your decision about it. Okay, once Haywire passed, I noticed that you kept going with the Rhyme Fighters name, and Rhyme Fighters albums kept dropping, even with Ghost Haywire verses on there.
Yeah.
Never before heard verses, and it honestly that was like, because I was a nerd and I knew what was up. That was the one thing that I would always look for with the Ghost verses. Like, I'm like, oh, because you would drop beats sometimes, it'd be at the end, or it would just be like, you know, and it would just be so intricate. And I want to know why you kept going with the Rhyme Fighters name and just didn't do a solo career. Why didn't you just come out like Quaesar and just leave it behind you?
Because it was me and Haywire, you know what I'm saying? Like, that was my boy and shit, and we fucking started this shit together. We're gonna end it together, you know what I'm saying? That's the way I seen it. And like fucking that fool might not be here physically, but his spirit's gonna always be here, you know what I'm saying? And so, and then at the time too, like during that time too, also like we had a fight for our name almost so hard, you know what I'm saying? Like, like just up until that point of even to the rescue, we had a fight for our name so hard, you know what I'm saying? That it was like, fuck that, like, why am I gonna give this up? You know what I'm saying? Why am I gonna? And I could have easily just like been like, fuck that, I'm gonna fucking like drop this shit and do some whole other shit where I'm not even Quaesar, I'm fucking like, you know, Dr. DARPA, you know what I'm saying? Or some shit. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Dr. Octagon.
You know, some bullshit, you know, I could have came off how a lot of people do, change their name, come on, but I was like, fuck that, I'm gonna stick to it. Like, this is how you shit.
How did you get, like, just for the people listening and the fans of Rhyme Fighters, like, how did you get through that time? Like, how, like I know it was hard, because I remember asking you about this, but I mean, just for the people, like, who thought about it, like, who are big fans.
You have to remember, like, well, you can't remember, but you have to understand that fucking 2 years probably, like, during the time when 9/11 was going down, my mom was dying of breast cancer. And so, like, during that time, like I said, like, I kind of grew up like just with only having my mom, and my mom kind of not really being there to begin with, you know what I'm saying? But still, that's still your mom's, you know? And so when my mom's passed away, it was kind of like, fuck, I need to go. I dropped out of college. I was in my 3rd semester of registered nursing in LA Trade Tech. And I was like, fuck, what am I going to do? Like, I'm staying kind of with my mom to go to school for right now and shit. And when she dies, like, where am I gonna go? You know what I'm saying? I gotta fucking pay rent and shit. So I just started working right away as a nurse's assistant, you know, like a student nurse kind of shit, right here in Covina at some spot called Citrus Valley Medical Center. And I was working right there for a little while. They have like a psych ward and a med-onc ward. Like, it's pretty versatile. Like, you get a whole range of, you know, patients. So I worked there, and since then I just always worked, you know. So, like, but during that time, like, I mean, it hit me pretty hard because I tried to finish college, but I just didn't tell my instructors what was going on, that my mom's dying of breast cancer and can't fucking think, and I can't fucking add fucking shit together and shit, like, practically, you know?
I think those are legit reasons now to, like, get an over bad grade. You can say shit like that now.
Yeah, and I
Before you couldn't at though.
Yeah, well, I should have said something. I should have spoke up, but I didn't, you know?
Yeah, it's too much. I mean, like, it was probably hard for you, too, just to even, like,
so
try to talk about that shit.
Yeah, so fucking, I mean, during that time, like, you know, like I had to get through that. So fucking after I'm getting through that, then, like, what, 2-3 years later, Haywire passes, you know? So it's just like, fuck, like, you know? It's just like kind of
gloom.
Yeah, it's like a gloom, you know, a hardcore gloom during that time, you know what I'm saying?
Shit.
And there's a lot of depression, and there's a lot of sadness and shit, and there's a lot of like, is there gonna be like really, like, all right, okay, I understand now, like, you might not be here tomorrow, you know what I'm saying? Like, shit can happen like that.
Mortality.
Like, cause I'm watching, you know, my mom's die of like a fucking disease, a biological disease. And then my boy gets taken out in a second in a car accident. You know what I'm saying? So I'm seeing, like, a range of death that's like, all right, there's death really doesn't have no boundary. You know what I'm saying? It's like
Around
any
the corner.
fucking, it's right around the fucking corner waiting for you. So you better really take life, you know, for granted. You know what I'm saying? And be real fucking happy with the moments you got and shit like that, you know? So There was a lot of that, you know, as far as going through it, that's what helped me get through that shit, you know what I'm saying, was making the music, you know, putting out Please Give Me an Outlet, you know what I'm saying, fucking putting out the music really is what helped me fucking get through a lot of the depression and the hard times and shit, and that's why I kind of like, you know, like save those ghost verses and shit like that, you know what
Where
I'm
do you
saying?
find those, like on old 8-track
Well, like
recordings,
actually some of them I would get like that, or like like right when his when Haywire passed away, his younger brother Rick was able to give me because like he had access to all his shit, so he gave me some of his shit, and he was like, so he probably still has more shit of his, you know, that I'm not aware of, you know.
Drop a tape.
That's dope. I remember you used to, on some of those tapes you had the comic book cutouts on there. Like what sparked that idea? You would have like dope like you would cut like circles in them, put little.
We're
comic
just
book.
like you know, we're from the street. We're graffiti artists. Like I grew up. My uncles made fucking picture frames out of Camel cigarette fucking packages. You know what I'm saying?
That's
For
dope.
being in prison all the time and shit. It's just something that comes with the territory. You know what I'm saying? When I seen the tapes, I was like, well, it can't just say TDK on there.
Right.
So I was like, let me see, and I opened it up, of course, with the fucking screwdriver.
Yeah.
You know, you're young and she got nothing but time on your hands, smoking weed all day and shit. Open it up. Oh wow, look at it. It's just a little film. Hey, here go. Young, toss this shit. Look at. Oh no, let's get it out, cut it out, and fucking, you know, the little stencil, saving the little stencil, and then re-putting them back in and making it like that. You know. So you know.
Aside from seeing music in patterns, which you obviously said you started to see very early on, and which makes sense to somebody that understands culture sessions. You guys got to remember that this is truly for nerds and you know, hip hop aficionados, cats that understand certain language, you know. And if you understand anything he's talking about when it comes to patterns, if you could, I mean, he blew my mind because I'm barely starting to see the patterns he's talking about in my rhyme skills. But if you're able to see them way before and it gravitates towards that skill level, I can see why you could get so good. But when you started rhyming, did you always set out to be like the fastest rhymer on the planet type of deal, or it just came from the skill?
Yeah, it just came from the skill. Not really set out ever to be the fastest rhymer. Just to like, I just wanted to be the best at what I can do. Really, you know what I'm saying? Like, like I said, like I grew up in the '80s, so I was raised off of Black Michael, I like to say, you know what I'm saying? You know, like, like, you know, I was raised off of Black Michael, so like there was a lot of like soul and style that like a different type of soul and a different type of style than let's say like James Brown and stuff like that, you know? There was more like a pop to it, like they're bringing it now with Pepsi and popping it out, and there was this whole, like, when you're growing up as a kid, it's being fed to you during those 80s era, like Madonna and this whole like pop culture, like the whole entire like show business of the whole entire game is being fucking pumped into you, you know? So it was like we were trained off of that shit. So like when I go, when I do my shit, I do it first and foremost, we're MCs, you know? But like I said in the beginning of the interview, you're not that fucking hard to begin with. So you're not a gang member, yo. If you were a gang member, you would have got jumped into a fucking gang, and you won't be busting fucking flows and trying to be in this hip hop shit. You won't be in no tag crew. Get the fuck. I don't give a fuck what fucking tag crew you think you're from. I don't give a fuck, yo. And fools can get all butt wet about it, but you didn't get jumped in no hood. So act as hard as you want. Fucking throwing your tag crew and throwing your hip hop shit all over the fucking table, but guess what? You never got jumped in the fucking hood, so you ain't that fucking hard. So save all of that hard shit for somebody that's gonna be scared of you, because I ain't a fucking afraid of you punk bitches. You know what I'm saying? Fucking swing that shit this way and you get a brush of death. You know what I'm saying? Straight the fuck up.
There we
you know what I'm saying?
Well, bro,
I seen it.
Like straight the fuck up. So like all that bullshit is set aside. Like save that shit for some other lifetime or some parallel universe that you used to fucking be in and shit. Like this right here is fucking hip hop, you know, and that's what like, that's what I'm basically here to fucking put down. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not here to really like fuck it up for people like that. You know what I'm saying? Like we're here to fucking like. Honestly, I forgot what the fucking question was.
I mean, you're going in, but I was gonna go into a question. Like, what is your ideas on the state? Since we're talking about
that's my point. That's my point. That was my point. Like all that hard shit, save it. You know what I'm saying? And so, first and foremost, we're MCs. We're doing hip hop. We're not gang banging. You know what I'm saying? Let's be fucking real. Right. You're writers. You're tagging. You're bombing. You're not gang banging. Let's be fucking real. So the thing is that. With that being said, this is a business. You know what I'm saying? This is a business that's called an entertainment business. You understand what I'm saying? So our job is to entertain. Quit acting fucking fools because you're losing clientele and nobody wants to come to your fucking show because you act like a hard bitch. But everybody knows you didn't get jumped in the hood. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
So fucking get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Because if you want to act hard like that, we could get down on some get down shit. You know what I'm saying? But it's just going to lead you to a lose-lose situation.
That has nothing to do with hip-hop either.
That's what I'm saying. Right. It's a lose-lose. Yeah. You know, because someone's going to get locked up. Yeah. Someone's going to get shot up. Someone's family's going to be grieving. Yeah. Someone's going to run to retaliate. And motherfucker want to retaliate with that. And no one wants to kick it with them because they want to kick it with them. I've seen it happen too many fucking times. So all that bullshit is simply bullshit. Like, save all that shit for acting hard. Like, it's an entertainment business. We're here to entertain. And so as long as I go up there and entertain the people with shit that they want to see, my people like violence. My people like that shit. Yeah, they didn't get jumped in the hood, but we still like violence. We still like to see people get beat the fuck up, but people that deserve it. You know what I'm saying? Not just random fucking, let's shoot the nun. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, we want to see fucking molesters get fucking beat the fuck up and shit like that. So I put that in my music. I put violence in my music. I put it into the entertainment aspect. You see what I'm saying? I'm not going up on stage and getting somebody and punching them in their face and fucking me, start a mosh pit. Nah. You know, like I say on my flow, I want to see breakers on the floor and not a mosh pit. You know what I'm saying? That mosh pit's for fucking punk rockers. You know what I'm saying? That's cool for their element. But not when you have a bunch of, you want ladies coming to your show, you want families coming to your show, you want people coming to a certain type of clientele that really ain't fucking around with that fucking mosh pit shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like, you know what?
I mean, no disrespect. I know a lot of people, I want mosh pits. Dude, seriously, come on now. Like, you know what I'm saying?
There's families.
Let's be fucking real. You know what I'm saying?
You know what? No. Speaking on that. Oh man, I lost my fucking question because I
got one right here.
Go ahead.
Okay, I want to ask you about 60,000 Leagues. That shit is crazy, dog. Like that. This is like, if you guys can see that, go to the RIMEFYTAHS.com. You can hear it right there. It's called 60,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Is that what it is? That's the chop fest right there. Like that one and what's the other one? And I think the Worldwide Choppers verse that you had on there. Like, no disrespect to anybody that was on the song. LA Cool, that's my big bro.
There's never no disrespect.
Never no disrespect.
We can pick our favorites. We're fucking hip hop heads.
But as a fan, man, you were on some other shit on that track, my G. Like, you know, the voice switching and people. If you don't know this, I've seen Quaesar record firsthand, and like he doesn't like come and like. I didn't see you stop and switch up the voice. Like, you just you flipped to the voice in the middle of his recording thing. Like,
did you record that verse in one take? Oh shit.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, but I mean, it wasn't like boom, record. Nah, I fucking took a couple fucking takes, but I didn't like punch in or
That's what I was saying. That's what I was saying because you do the voice flip sometimes. Like you hit them like sometimes you hear like you want nada, you motherfuckers don't want nada. Like when you do crazy shit like that, then you got the low voice, and then you got like the crazy robotic, like. But you flip him through it. But I didn't see you punch in when you were doing that. Like you were able to just. So that's that, and the 60,000 Leagues Under the Sea has a lot of that. So go peep that out. And can you download it right there?
I don't know if you could download it.
Well, bump that shit.
It's off the Lost Sea Scroll. So
you could cop that off you. I mean, I'm pretty, because you always walk around with CDs on you. So
yeah. Try to catch it. I mean, like they don't call it the Lost Sea Scrolls for no reason. So if you could catch that CD, you better.
They're under the sea, right there by the Titanic.
You better get it as soon as you see it.
Yeah, that was crazy. I think I got a copy of that. I pretty much have a copy of everything at the house. But if you guys want some stuff, where can they hit you up to, like, if they're trying to get a hold of you, where they can get it?
Just go to RIMEFYTAHS.com.
Okay.
That's about it. After you go to RIMEFYTAHS.com, then it'll link you to everything else that's on there. If you don't know how to spell Rime Fytahs, it's RIMEFYTAHS.
Remember that. I remember my question now that I had.
Yeah.
It was going to be about, because you were talking about violence in music, and I remember you just said right now that's why you put it in your music, because of the entertainment aspect. I think for as long as I've been a Rime Fighters fan, the first time I actually heard you say some like really raw fucking crazy like fucking violent shit was on Plastics Explosives. That was like the most, I think, was that the first time I actually started getting really like, fucking really grimy, like really detailed with like the torture?
I don't really know. I can't really say.
That's the first time I heard your fucking
with the war.
your torturous side. That's the first time.
Well, what it was that, like, let me see.
Really grimy.
2007 is Public Enemy. 2006 Buy My Shit. 2005 Only in LA. Yeah, by the time 2008 came around, I've like kind of like honed my killer rhymes are skill more. You know what I'm saying?
Killer rhymes
I kind of like was able to hone into it, because like during the initial, like you could kind of see the transition. Like during the initial time,
Definitely.
I have like the Quaesar style. I have my old Quaesar way of like doing like the way I was doing it, and then when Haywire passed away, I was kind of like damn, like how am I gonna like do this shit or whatever. So I start lacing up shit for the Oni in LA, because we're kind of like almost not halfway done, but we started already lacing a couple tracks. A couple times I hit it in a certain way, and I was like, whoa, wait a minute, that sounded like like pretty dope, like fucking almost like if it sounded like Haywire or something, and it was because I was like thinking of Haywire too, so I was just like, well, maybe like I should like start like utilizing more my deeper voice and getting more into my diaphragm, as opposed to just being more like Quaesar, Michael Brigada, and like kind of like so it was like, well, like that's, and it was funny because it was almost like during the time when I was doing the Psychic Friends Network Part 2. You know what I'm saying? In the Psychic Friends Network Part 2, that's when I kind of like really like, all right, Quaesar, Starscream, and fucking, and I was like, cause like basically we both wrote the shit together, but I think I spit both of our verses in that shit. Like there's like a song or something where we write together and I'm spitting both of our verses. So it was kind of like, how would he say it in a way, you know what I'm saying? And when I was saying it, how he would say it, it kind of like started coming together more. And I was like, wait a minute. And I like kind of found more of the, that whole Killer Rhymes Are style of like voice and how to get the voice in. All right. And it was more like Quaesar on the mic, and like that, right?
Yeah.
And then from there, I started playing with it more, because it was just too monotone. I was like, okay, I got there. Don't be afraid to play with it. So then I started playing with it and started being like Quaesar, Rime Fytahs, and started doing like more like shit like that, where I started like doing my own, adding my own variations to it, where I was able to use the deep voice. It kind of expanded me to use all the other shit. You know what I'm saying?
Did you take vocal lessons?
Nah.
Your diaphragm? How'd you get it so
just
wide?
Honestly, it's funny. Like I'm gonna revert back to, like I said, like the era I grew up in, dude. Like fucking the whole '80s and shit. Like that's all that was out there, was like entertainment and fucking Coca-Cola and Pepsi wars and fucking Ronald Reagan and fucking Cold War and pop culture, and there was shit like there was a lot of shit that was coming out, there was shit like I know the song, I don't know the song. There's like a bunch of fucking songs, like Prince, all kinds of shit. It was like a wide range. It wasn't just like you were just listening to hip hop. It was like you're listening to fucking Depeche, like David Bowie,
Depeche Mode,
David Bowie, the Bangles, like there's all this shit. So with these people, you're getting like electronic sound from the UK, because they're like these cats out there in the UK are using a lot of this electronic shit, and they're using like their their voices are like, you know, sounding all fucking, you know, like almost like the way I use my voice
robotic,
now, you know, you know, like. And so, like, just little shit like that we grew up, like, listening to and watching and shit. Oh, I fucked that ant up. He's all paralyzed. Yeah, but fucking, you know, just like that, you know?
So so that's how that, so that you're saying, like, the shit that was even European influence had something to do with, like, because I was going to ask you, fucking, were you doing more hardware or more software, like, during the beginning, I would say?
In the beginning was hardware.
Now software?
Now it's more software, yeah.
Wow.
And now it's a mix right now because I got like some like have like my little MP fucking pad, you know, that goes into the computer where I could still like now, you know, use my hands and not so much click, 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 you know.
So those weird keyboards would be from like the Europe fucking guys, you think you would say, like the weird synthesizer sounds?
Yeah, you know, like when you're getting like, you know, shit like Depeche Mode, you're getting fucking like David Bowie type of shit, you're getting like fucking dude, I can't even.
Super synthy shit.
Yeah, you know, like there's a lot of shit out there, like Wham and shit. Like you're getting like, you know, like a lot of like there. Oh man, there's so much shit, you know, and the influence out there from like they're using a lot of like, you know, digital shit, you know. And out here they're like you're still using like a lot of bands and stuff like that.
Raw
you know?
shit.
Yeah, raw shit. But there was just so much of that influence of like. From singing, you know what I'm saying, to like break dancing, it was like all there at once. So it was like inevitable for somebody to come out of that culture and just know how to
shoot out of a cannon,
how to break dance, bust flows, DJs, make beats, and fucking do something. You know, it was just like inevitable. Like there was no fucking way around it. If you grew up in that era, that's the way you fucking came out.
That's why the '90s destroyed. I mean, not destroyed, but like made hip hop the shit. You know what I mean?
And then the '90s was just like fuck. Hey, that's when like hip hop took over. You know,
that's where it was like it just blossomed in it. And it's like I think some of the best hip hop has came from that era, the golden era.
My favorite year of hip hop was '93, if you ask me. That's year.
You know, I mean, like the album Sugar Water. Like I feel like those beats that were on that album like have like a feel to it, like the samples.
More sampley.
Yeah, it was really sampley.
I think that's the only sampley album you guys really did, right? Cause,
that was it was
samples after.
Yeah, that. It was probably like fucking because it started off real sampley. Like I'm gonna honestly say, like a lot of people hear my production now because I start fucking with a lot of samples now and a lot of people come at me and be like, oh, that sounds kind of MF-y or some shit like that. But like if you go back to my way back shit, a lot of that old shit's the same fucking shit, real sampley. Fucking
that shit if
you hear the
Sugar Water's fucking
if you hear the old samples I was doing and all the old fucking beats I was doing, like doubling up drums and shit, you'll be like, what the fuck, that sounds MF-y too. But it's like I wasn't listening. There was no MF Doom influence other than maybe KMD, which like probably didn't hear since fucking 1990 something and almost practically forgot of during that time when we were actually going out there and fucking with our shit, you know. So when you bring those old like karaoke beats, like when you're like, hey, you got old tapes, you bring those old karaoke shit, it's just like almost like half the whole tape is just a bunch of beats and samples and just samples and boom boom do doom do boom do boom boom do doom and just like fucking old, and it's like almost listening to like a prehistoric fucking special herbs and spices almost, you know what I'm saying, like kind of shit, because it's just a bunch of samples, jazzy ass samples with fucking beats in the background.
That's dope.
Fucking,
like the Forward Movement, that song Forward Movement that you have on there,
shit like that. Yeah, you know,
we're gonna actually open up the podcast with that song.
Yeah,
that's one of my favorite
got to.
fighters one.
Like that
rest in peace Big Sin. You know, Big Sin passed away, my boy too. That fool also fucking, you know, like, you know, fucking did some crazy shit. I don't know if I really want to speak about because, you know, certain shit, you know, you leave it up to, you know, personal reasons to speak about and shit. But rest in peace, my boy Big Sin and shit that I was on that track. It's funny because that shit is it that one Forward Movement? Oh no, we're talking about
so Forward Movement is Joe Frazier with a razor.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking of probably thinking of another track. Anyway,
Yeah. Recipes, Big Sim. Recipes, Haywire. And another question I had is how did you get linked up with, like, because I always see you with like LA Cool, Mr. CR, Kazoo, like that's like a bunch of OGs together. Yeah, that's like the OGs together. Like you know that would be dope to have maybe hear a little project come out of that or something, you know, or like. You know, how did you link up with them, and will there be a project or like what? Just speak on something like.
Well, it's just like you said, like during like our initial era, we're coming out here 626. We're growing up out here. We're getting our name out. Rime FYTAHS, Sea Serpents. The Sea Serpents album and the first Cola CD were both recorded in Ontario under Mass Murder Productions. So we spent a lot of our time in the IE area doing like showing up to spots like there's a spot Goodfellas out in fucking Rancho Cucamonga and shit, and we go out there and rip it, and there's OC spots and we go out and rip it, and kind of out here, so we were kind of getting a little buzz out here too. Anyways, during that time, LA Cool kind of getting buzz like, oh, cola and this and that, and well, who are these cola foods, whatever. Well, years pass on and shit, and fucking this cat comes to my crib and he's like, yo, I want to get into cola, boom, 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 bing, and fucking couple days after, he fucking goes to the Blode and he goes to battle some other dude named Deucer.
I was like, wait, where's this story going? I was like, oh,
I love the way Quaesar says
and so, fucking so this,
twist to the story.
Yeah, so this cat goes.
It was me, if you guys don't know.
So Malathion goes to the Blode and he's rocking his cola shirt and he's throwing cola weight around like if cola. And I'm like, motherfucker, I'm from cola now, fool. I'll battle over the and like no! And so like
so this like, motherfucker.
So like I get a call from Malathion and he's like, yo, I battled this and that, but Malathion's smart because he calls me up and he's like, yo, you know, I just want to make sure it's, you know, I don't want to do nothing stupid. I threw cola around and, you know, this and that and fucking that, and I kind of let him know. I was like, hey, you can't really be doing that shit, bing. Anyway, long story short, I was like, well, you know, this shit has to be resolved quick and fast, you know? So I just jumped on the horn right away and I was like, yo, cool, what up? This Quaesar fucking, you know, Rime FYTAHS Cola. The homie Malathion went down there, and I just want to clarify and make sure that, you know, we have full respect for the Blode, and, you know, Cola's, you know, this and that, and it's its own entity, and whatever beef they have, it's going to remain amongst men, you know, between them, because, like, really, Malathion, like, whatever beef it wasn't, like...
between the whole crews, it was between them two.
Exactly.
There was no reason for it to be
so, like,
everybody.
So
I remember that.
Cool was with it, and from there, just, like, it was like, well, you know, since you had the fucking, like, the balls to fucking call me on that level, why don't you come down and let's chop it up and get to, you know, do it on a personal level. So then from there we just been kicking it like homies, you know what I'm saying?
That's dope. I guess that was good that well, it wasn't good that I did that, but a good thing came out of that. I'm glad that, you know.
Well, see, and that's the thing though, like you gotta always remember, like it doesn't matter what you're doing in life, it can go either way. You know what I'm saying? Always remember that shit. It can go either fucking way. It's just like they say, like, your glass is half full or half empty. I could have seen my glass half empty at that moment and been like, fuck, Malathion went to the Blode, did all that shit, and been the old school myself and been like, well, fuck the Blode and fuck anybody that wants to step to my crew. What you know, but I'm more grown. I'm more, little more fucking wiser. And I was like, right when that happened, I knew I took advantage of it to be like, I'm gonna squash this shit real quick and let's see where this takes us as fucking.
I remember that day too, because I was like, oh shit, Quaesar's gonna be fucking mad, and I was like, I didn't want it to be like this, and I think I hit you up too.
Yeah,
I was
it was
like,
big
oh,
news
shit.
over here. It was crazy because I think
one thing
I said, armies to call
like I said a line. I think I said something lying about like, oh, you're only out here because of LA Cool or something like that, and that was like, you know, that everybody went crazy, and then LA Cool was mad at me. You know what I mean? And he was like, man, fuck you. Like, he called me like, because it's like, man, like, he was like, man, fuck you, little homie. I'm going to tell everybody that Malathion is whack. I was like, oh, shit. I was like, oh, come on, homie. I was like, you know, we started getting on the phone, but we
cool.
Yeah, that's my G right there.
You gotta get cool out here now.
Yeah, for sure.
Clarify that.
I'm going to get at you, you know? But you know, but he was, you know, he really listened, and he was like, you know what? we all say some crazy shit, you know what I mean? Like, so we chopped it up and it was cool. And then like I still kind of felt like it was on the rocks, and and Quaesar was patching things up. So I call him Quaesar. You have so many different names. I mean, a lot of people. I think if
you're a fan, you already know that Killer Rhymes are.
Yeah, Quaesar.
He's like he said, he comes from the graph culture, so he likes to spell his name differently.
That was crazy though, because I just honestly thought, I was like, I think that would have been a good question, but I didn't know it stemmed from that far back.
All right, I mean, I guess just coming to it now. I honestly, one more question I have to ask, before we close this out, because I noticed that you're always like constantly dropping albums year after year, and I know guys that don't have no kids, don't even have girlfriends, that don't drop album year after year. Mm-hmm. It's like, how the hell do you balance, making music constantly and I would assume a full family life?
Yeah, what inspires that?
But I know you're balancing too.
Because we were talking about that beforehand, and it was like how do you
stay consistent?
And it's like, people use that excuse all the time. Like, I got a job now, G. I can't do this, or I got this.
I just had kids, dog. I gotta do something else now, or whatever.
Like every year, I don't think you've slept on a year. Maybe I don't think you've slept on a year.
Yeah, well, it just, honestly, I couldn't do it without my lady. That's just really what it boils down to, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't have a strong lady out there, then you're not going to be able to do shit, you know what I'm saying? Because, like, I go out to a lot of shows, I do a lot of fucking events, and I'm out late a lot of times, you know what I'm saying? And, like, I mean, if anybody knows me and goes and follows me on my shows, you know that I'm not out there trying to fuck around. I'm just trying to rock the set and business. Fucking, you know what I'm saying? So, like, just little shit like that. Like, a lot of people, like, you have to realize with great power comes great responsibility. And I always say that to my kids, and I say that to my lady, you know what I'm saying? And I'm blessed with a great power, and with this power, I can't go out and abuse it by trying to get in girls' panties and fucking trying to get in the door free and trying to get drunk and trying to get fucking high for free and shit like that. I'm out there to, provide a service and get people pumped up for that shit and get that money and fucking bring it home to my lady that's supporting me, you know what I'm saying? And because, like, she's the one that trusts me to be out there and do that shit, because without her trust and her support, then I wouldn't be able to do this shit, you know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of times when, like, like you say, how can you do the album and how can you do that? Well, fuck, how else am I gonna do it? How else am I gonna be able to fucking stay home and record, and fucking my lady fucking, you know what I'm saying? My lady has to take the kids and maybe go out shopping or go in the other room, or fucking we're smoking up the whole shit while fools are over recording and shit like that, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of shit my lady puts up with, my kids put up with. My daughter fucking, sometimes she's like, fuck Rime Fighter, I don't even like that shit, you know what I mean? She like, I'm like fed up with that shit, because I'll be fucking bumping like the same track every day to write to it kind of shit, you know what I'm saying?
Like, turn that off.
Yeah, but like,
I want to watch cartoons.
So yeah, but like, I mean, it's a family business, really. It's been about a 20-year career for me, you know what I'm saying? And like, what you need is a lot of communication. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's been a lot of fucking like hard times where, there's arguments and fucking shit like that, and shit hits the fan over what not and shit like that. It ain't like a fucking happy life. And
it's life, it's ups and downs.
But I mean, above it all, you have to have communication. Like, I have to be able to talk to my lady and to my family and let them know, like, really this has been a career for me, you know what I'm saying? Because, like, throughout my life, I've had a lot of jobs. Like I said, I had to, like, start working. My mom got breast cancer. My main goal was to be a registered nurse and have one job and make enough money to support fucking hip-hop and support a family. But it never worked out that way. Life's life, you know what I'm saying? So I've always had to have a bunch of different jobs throughout my life, from being a nurse to working like at fucking Office Depot to fucking working manufacturing pharmaceuticals to fucking, like
during those
stretching
jobs,
canvas.
You're rhyming after your job, after all that shit?
Yeah, and I'm still busting flows. And then at the end of it all, like, it's like you said, year after year, no matter how many different jobs I've had an album to show for it. So really, when you look back at it and reflect, it's like, whoa, I just made myself a 20-year career out of this shit. This is my career. This is what I'm a master of. I'm a master of ceremonies.
MC.
I'm here to rock the fucking mic for people, and I do it in a professional manner. The only thing is the game's all fucked up. See, obviously, people don't want to make no money. you fools want to sit around and bitch about how broke you are. Because if you did want to make some fucking money, you'd get me on the fucking horn, hit me up, put some fucking money in my pocket, and we could flip this shit and fucking double it up. You know what I'm saying? But these labels are scared to harbor terrorists like me. You know what I'm saying? Because they know that we'll go out and just change it on all these fake ass fucking MCs. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it basically boils down to. We need people to invest in the fucking underground, in the fucking heart of the shit, so that way the money gets made properly, distributed properly. Like, put it this way, the game is fucked up because the money, there was openings for us. You had Biggie Smalls opening it up. You had Tupac opening it up. Yeah, they were like out there on the radio, but they were opening it up for underground MCs. You know what I'm saying?
Through their content.
Yeah, and the way they were doing shit, and the money was getting spread back to the underground. They set it up in a certain way where those, you know, gods got killed off, and there was a big separation. You know what I'm saying? Where that, like, almost like, boom, like, fuck all these generation of so-called MCs and artists and underground and this and that. This is where it starts now. And then you talk to a bunch of kids and they think hip-hop started with Wiz Khalifa or some shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like, are you fucking serious?
And that's
like,
what,
you know?
I had a question about that. Like, how do you feel about where the hip-hop scene is at right now? And do you think that it could be fixed? Because I feel like there's just a missing link in between there, because you got the OGs who are like the, you know, like the Rakims and all of them. Then you got, you know, also I include you guys into that too, because you guys are also the OGs of the culture. And then you have, I feel like there is a time where it went from physicals to digital, and like felt like there's certain guys who didn't put it digital or like didn't kind of catch up to that, and like the younger crowd didn't get wind of that. Like, there's so much good music that wasn't on video, and now it's like, if you don't see it with the audio, like, you can hear it, but now it's like, I want to see it just to see if I like it. And
it doesn't have to be like fuck you or fuck that. It could be in the middle.
Exactly. But I feel like there's a missing link, and I feel like as soon as we find out what that missing link is, like, what do we got to do to also hit the young crowd and to keep it to where the OGs are still, like, you talk to some young kids and then they're like, fuck, I ain't trying to hear no Rakim. I'm trying to hear that shit. I'm not saying that everybody has to hear that or you have to be doing that, but you have to know hip hop for hip hop to know you. You can't just sit here and say, well, I'm just slapping Odd Future, or I'm just slapping it, which is tight. That's cool. Or I'm just slapping this. But like, how do you feel about that? Like, where do you see that has to be done in order for, I know it's a crazy question, you know what I mean? But like,
ask a question.
Yeah, I did. Okay, well, if I didn't, the thing is, what's that missing link? What's that missing link? You know what I mean? Like, what do you feel?
It's us. It's all within us. Like, you know, you ever see The Fifth Element and they're looking for the fifth element, and fifth element's the person, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's really us. Like, really, like, right now, as far as hip hop never went nowhere. It's never been nowhere. Yeah, the underground, this and that. The underground's always gonna be here. Yeah, the radio is always gonna be there. Fucking like I don't know, like, as far as like having something, like, what it is it's all interchangeable, because look at, as a kid, like, I like to put it like this. As a kid, you like McDonald's, you like the candy store and shit like that.
Yeah.
And as a kid, you don't know no better, right? Like, as a kid, if we let you go into the fucking candy store and eat candy all fucking day, that's what you would do. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't know fucking better.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's our responsibility as a parent to sit and say, no more candy. That's bad for you. That's enough. You need to eat some home cooking now. It's time for fucking some pozole or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Right. Okay? And the same thing is for, like, the food for thought. You know what I'm saying? When you're feeding these kids food for thought, the kids will take the candy store all fucking day. These pop fucking culture ass shit, these fucking popsicles and shit, they'll take it all fucking day if you let them. You know what I'm saying? But if the parents step in and say, fuck that, I'm going to bump some De La Soul up in this bitch when we're driving to Disneyland.
They don't want
today.
the broccoli.
You know what I'm saying? I'm going to bump rock him while I'm fucking driving to Knott's Berry Farm today. Fuck that. You know what I'm saying?
Teach the
Fuck,
kids.
you know what I'm saying? And then with that, they have to sit there and listen to it. And they might not like it a few times, but guess what? That kid's going to grow up That kid's gonna grow up
culture.
And what happens when you're a little kid? You don't like onions. You know what I'm saying? You don't like fucking broccoli and shit. But when you grow up, you what?
You like that.
You acquire a what?
A taste.
A taste for that shit. And the same thing goes for the fucking music. There's always gonna be those popsicle fucking candy ass pop shit that doesn't really last. You know, chew the gum fucking doesn't flavor,
Shit
don't
that melts
last.
in the
Gotta
sun.
spit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But there's always gonna be the home cooking. You know what I'm saying? Mama's home cooking. You know what I'm saying? And that home cooking's like the KRS, the De La Soul, the Rakim. You know what I'm saying? That shit like
The Rime
that.
Fightahs.
You know, so fucking yeah, the kids they're always gonna have that. But it's up to us as leaders and as parents to show them, hey, that's cool, but come look at this over here. Here, come over here and have a little bit of home cooking. And you might not like it right now, but guess what? You're gonna grow up one day and you're gonna understand
What it is.
thinking of a master plan.
The
Ain't
message.
nothing but sweat inside my hand. You know what I'm saying? And then you're gonna be like, whoa, I understand this shit. Cause I don't have mommy and daddy paying my rent no more. So I digging in my pocket, all my money spent. Still thinking there ways of coming up for rent. You know what I'm saying? And I used to be a stick-up kid. I used to roll up thinking of all the things I did. You know what I'm saying? Or so, you know, and then you're like, whoa, what the fuck? I feel this shit now. You know, yeah, because you grew up. You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, they're gonna, as long as you have kids being spoiled little brats, there's gonna always be that poppy shit. You know what I'm saying? But until the kid has to fend for themselves and grow up for themselves or whatever it is, then they're gonna fucking have to feel that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Broken down.
Before we go, like I don't know
Crazy.
how you feel about it. If you be down to kick maybe a cappella or something, or so I don't know. We don't usually do it, but I mean, we got Quaesar in the fucking
Put him on the
building.
spot like that.
Why not? I mean, like it's. I mean, if you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it. But maybe just like
Whatever.
I'll bust a fucking freestyle.
Oh.
I bust a freestyle off the top of the psyche. You fools wanna try to fight me, boy, don't try to bite me. I'm off on another horizon, another dimension. The freestyle flows that I bust is a simple lesson for you peasants, you students. You can't do what I do, kid. I'm a bad influence. I push the button, I ain't frontin'. You and your cousin better do something real quick, because when I start to spill clips, I hit them with them hollow tips, split them wigs open. Freestyle flows locked in my scope, in the crosshair. You don't wanna walk where I step. My path is a verbal bloodbath, and fools laugh at your demise. My freestyle flows are no lies. I do it right in front of your eyes, live and direct in the flesh. Put it down for the West. Oh yes, this is hollow tips. I start to spit. I transmit from another planet. You just cubic centimeter. My rhyme flow bust like 9mm, 7mm. Off the top the dome, the AK-74, leaving kids running home, and they dropping their Nikes and leave their shoes behind. My freestyle flows don't rewind. You better get it the first time. You kids are blind. Open your third eyesight. My rhyme ignite. I killed this mic. And you can't find that on none of my writtens. You can go back since 1998 and you won't find that on none of my CDs. So
Skill at your
that's
disposal.
just a
I asked for
freestyle.
a written
Disposal.
acapella, and you guys got a freestyle. You guys got a lot of gems here. Please, you guys need to get a
God.
pad of paper, download this, listen to Quaesar and what he's saying, man.
I have one more question before we get out of here.
Get that. Let it get that.
Last one. How did you hear about Chamber Records?
Chamber Records. I mean, honestly, I heard the buzz around from flyers and stuff like that. But I really heard it when Malathion really brought it over to me and really put it into my face and told me, "Hey, fucking, check these CDs out. I ain't fucking around." And when he came from Cola, honestly, he's one of the only, I would have to say he was the first artist that came to Cola with the complete package, you know what I'm saying? And I was like pretty impressed by that. I was like, oh wow, I put the CD on, it didn't sound like it was just like recorded right away. It sounded like he's been doing it for a while. The recording sounded real good, you know what I'm saying? And I wasn't trying to judge off of right away, like, oh, he doesn't sound like he did a karaoke like me, fuck that. You know what I'm saying? I was like, oh, this sounds pretty tight. All right, I see where it's all at and shit. And I started asking more questions about like Chamber through Prophets, because Prophets really knew you guys more, you know what I'm saying? And they would like kind of like bring you guys up, oh, Chamber, and they're doing the show and stuff like that. So I mean, that's basically how I got to know about the name of Chamber and shit like that, which is basically an extended family of Cola and shit. You know?
Yeah, all day.
There it is.
Yeah.
You heard it. You heard it out of the lion's mouth.
Hell yeah.
There it is. Well, we're closing that out, and
That's it.
we just had culture sessions with Quaesar, Rime Fightahs. Anything that
Buy my shit.
answer my question before I can even say it. Like, is there anything, any plugs, anything new?
Just buy my shit. Go on RIMEFYTAHS.com. You get all the new shit right there. I'm releasing little by little a couple cuts for the next Raw on tape. Because you could download the Raw on tape side A for free on Reverb Nation. I'm going to put side B up on RIMEFYTAHS.com. Hopefully try to get them both on there because the quality is a little bit better than Reverb Nation. But you can also buy the CD. I got it for $5 when you catch me on the street and shit. You know what I'm saying? So.
And the Bandcamp too, right?
Bandcamp, yeah. All the links are basically on RIMEFYTAHS.com. So feel free to, just go on the RIMEFYTAHS.com, the ColaCrew.com. You get to see all the other, the other homies and shit like that, and all the other links. And yeah, you guys got this the podcast on. Like, is there is it like a link to it? Like, can you put it somewhere and someone can link
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so we could put like the whole, we could put Culture Sessions button up on the ColaCrew.com where that people could just push the button and it'll lead them straight.
Right. So you better be either hearing this from PlatformCollections.com or the ColaCrew.com or RIMEFYTAHS.com, motherfucker.
Yeah.
There it is. Go buy his shit.
So you know that this has been another fucking amazing Culture Sessions. I'm one of your hosts, Arkyve the Nomad.
Malathion.
We just had Quaesar on here. And good night, everybody.
So it is. Culture.
Culture.